And I saw this video from Senator Lummis making the rounds. What she's proposing here is no cap gains on Bitcoin. We also saw the same sort of thing coming out of Florida. Florida is introducing a bill to remove cap gains taxes on Bitcoin. So let's have a quick listen and check this one out.
What's happening here at this convention and what's happening around the country with the creation of applications for engaging the Lightning Network in small purchases, for example. We want to make sure that there's a de minimis amount. So if you are buying something with Bitcoin, you are exempt from IRS reporting if it's under $600. Things like that are important to making Bitcoin very, very useful and utilitarian within the U.S. economy.
Very useful and utilitarian. I absolutely, love Senator Lummis. Does a lot of fantastic, great work. I believe the word you were looking for was money. Now, what she's proposing here is no cap gains on Bitcoin, transactions under $600. I saw a lot of people getting, kind of disappointed or complaining like, why $600? Why not 6,000? Why not more? This doesn't seem like a meaningful amount. But I would push back in the sense that the distance between 0 to 1 is far more important than 1 to 100, in the sense that we just have to get the concept there. We'd have to get this started. This allows for Bitcoin to be used without, tax consequences as money within the US. And it's very easy to move from 600 to 700 to raise that up or try to use some political powers to push that forward. We just have to get the ball started in the first place. If, Steak and Shake can accept Bitcoin without having to worry about any sort of capital gains, well, maybe they just hang on to it all. They're going to find out it's better money one way or another. Maybe they keep it. Going back to GameStop and Ryan Cohen, right? Most people at GameStop probably are making purchases sub $600 US, right? Game purchases, depending on which console and what else they might be buying. You could just easily integrate this into your website, take digital payments, add that Bitcoin to the stack of 4,000 plus that you've already got there, and just use it as money. So many times when I'm talking to new people, they talk about how, well, I can't spend it anywhere. I can't use it. I even hear people complaining about the fact that, like, well, yeah, but if I use it, there might be a capital gains on it. Like, you weren't in fiat. You had a game you had a gain that was far better than staying and having the guaranteed loss. So Bitcoin can benefit absolutely from just getting out of the way. And I think this is a fantastic first start. If this goes through, I think it will have profound impacts for pleb level adoption, right? Currently, it looks like the U.S. government and the Wall Street is starting to basically front run the no coiners who haven't found their way yet. This is a great opportunity for this to be a part of everyday transactions in everyday life and continue to grow there.
Let me break this down for my fellow Bitcoiners. In just 8 weeks, I've seen a serious shift. More strength, more energy, and fast muscle gains. The reason? FITSCRIPT. They ran 124 biomarkers, blood, hormones, inflammation, and built a fully custom plan: nutrition, training, supplements. No guesswork, no templates. This is functional medicine meets precision fitness for high-performing men who want sovereignty over their health. If you care about optimization the way you care about your money, test, don't guess. Don't trust, verify. Hit the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen to check out FITSCRIPT and see what's possible.
Let's get a few things out of the way. So first and foremost, we did get an announcement from GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen. Let's have a quick listen to see what he has to say. And guys, I want you to pay close attention to body language, tone of voice. I want to know what you guys think of this. I have some thoughts, but I'm not going to give them away just yet.
Well, you also made some news about, a month ago or so, that you raised some money that you might use to buy Bitcoin. I guess the $1 million question that everyone wants to know is, has GameStop bought Bitcoin?
We have bought Bitcoin.
Okay, how much?
We currently own 4,710 Bitcoins.
Let's go. So tell us about that. Why did GameStop decide to buy Bitcoin?
It was, if the thesis is correct, then Bitcoin and gold as well can be a hedge against global currency devaluation and systemic risk. Bitcoin has certain unique advantages compared to gold. The portability aspect of it, it's instantly transferable across the globe, whereas gold is bulky and very expensive to ship. The authenticity, it's instantly verified via the blockchain. The storage, you can easily secure Bitcoin in a wallet, whereas gold requires insurance and it's very expensive. There's the scarcity element of it as well. there's a fixed supply of Bitcoin, whereas with gold, certain technological advances, the supply of gold is still uncertain. And then ultimately there's the asymmetric upside. Gold is a more mature market. It's sort of roughly around 20 trillion of market capitalization, whereas Bitcoin today is about 2 trillion. And if the thesis is correct, then ultimately Bitcoin becomes digital gold, adopted, then there's more upside. But we'll see what happens. Nobody has a crystal ball, but that's the current thesis.
Well, congratulations. And I feel like GameStop is the ultimate meme stock and Bitcoin is the ultimate meme money. And if you combine the two, you get a meme super cycle. So, you know, what's next for GameStop and Bitcoin? Are you going to buy more Bitcoin? Is this the next MicroStrategy, the next MetaPlanet, or even better?
We're not going to call our shots in advance for obvious reasons, but GameStop is following GameStop's strategy. We're not following anyone else's strategy.
Interesting. So to me, that sounds like someone who's done maybe 17 hours of homework. I actually don't get a sense of conviction. I don't feel that he really understands it. Like, I love the Bitcoin is digital gold narrative analogy is very useful for communicating to people who are new to the space. I don't think this guy's done a lot of his homework yet. That would make me very kind of apprehensive or worried about, you know, when we hit the bear market, we get a good drawdown here. Are they going to sell? I feel like David Bailey was more excited than Ryan Cohen, but hey, maybe I'm just reading too much into it. You know, it seems like there was also possibly a big miss here, and that's Bitcoin not as your strategic reserve, but as your medium of exchange. Like, you're selling an online digital product. What better to use for those purchases, or at least offer, than Bitcoin? But we'll let it ride. We'll see how it plays out. We had some other interesting announcements or other interesting insights from other CEOs. So let's quickly pop over here. We've got the CEO from Steak and Shake, and he gives us his thoughts on the Bitcoin purchases experiment and how it worked out for him. And this, I think, is much more interesting.
Experience so far with Bitcoin has been that it is faster than credit cards. And when customers choose to pay in Bitcoin instead of credit cards, we are saving about 50% in our processing fees. This means that Bitcoin is a win for the customer, it's a win for us as the merchant, and it's a win for you in the Bitcoin community.
Now that I find really interesting, because they're basically they're a proof of concept of Bitcoin, not as a hedge, not as a, you know, speculative asset, not as a necessarily even reserve, although it'd be a good way to accumulate for the reserve. They're talking about actually using Bitcoin as money and the benefits that it has for digital payments, that they're saving 50% on processing fees, that the cost of integration for most businesses is going to be near zero. Why not stop handing over your money to Visa, to MasterCard, to the banks? You can keep more of it. And if they just want to roll that right over, they want to sell it right away, they want to get back into fiat, fine. They'll figure that out. They'll now be exposed to the Bitcoin price. They'll be paying attention. They'll be learning more. But it's a much easier kind of sell to someone who maybe early in their journey be like, hey, you can just receive payments and it will cost you less. So I'm glad to see that was successful for them. The little cow video of them running around was a little bit cringe, but other than that, glad to see it is working out quite well. So continuing on, there was a underlying theme that I spotted from some of the announcements in the conference that I think got a little bit underplayed, underrepresented. People weren't paying close enough attention to it. So I want to quickly point out this from our wonderful Alex Gladstein. Shout out to the Human Rights Foundation. Again, Oslo Freedom Forum there. Bitcoin Trojan horse theory, right? It doesn't matter if it's dictators or getting past the IRS or for corporations or for Wall Street. You adopt Bitcoin for your own self-interest, but along with it comes freedom money, right? There's no escaping that. Bitcoin doesn't need companies to necessarily adopt it. It doesn't need MicroStrategy to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. It doesn't, or treasury. It doesn't require the US to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve in order to succeed. As exciting and fun, maybe for price action, as these big players getting to the space is, ultimately Bitcoin is a grassroots, bottom-up adoption, right? And that's where the real growth in the network is going to come from. And anywhere we can see this Trojan horse sneaking in is a win for Bitcoin. So we had an announcement from Vivek Ramaswamy regarding his position on Bitcoin. Should he be elected governor of Ohio? Let's have a quick listen.
It is participating in it with real skin in the game. So what can a governor do to help lead the way to that vision where every kid is able to participate in the magic of American capitalism and compounding, to not be spiteful towards the successful by being successful instead. One of the things I will do is I will lead Ohio to be the first and top state in the country to integrate financial literacy into our public education that includes the power of compounding, including education about Bitcoin as an asset class that every young person ought to be aware of as they make those financial decisions.
There is no way that you put Bitcoin education, assuming it's not just propaganda trying to, FUD it and play it down. There's no way you put neutral or positive education regarding Bitcoin into the public school system, and that doesn't have profound effects on the next generation coming up. Think of how unbelievably communist and Keynesian the universities are. If you get to them young, it does have consequences down the line. You can't teach about Bitcoin without teaching about sound money. You can't teach about Bitcoin without comparing it to the existing fiat system. It's going to come along with Austrian economics, is going to come along with libertarian philosophy. Those things are going to leak into the public school system, which, honest to God, I'd rather just do away with the public school system, but I'll take them adding Bitcoin education as a step in the right direction, a Trojan horse, a win.
Bitcoin Well is the best place to be buying and selling Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And now with Bitcoin Well Infinite, it's also the best place to be making large buys at their OTC desk of over $50,000. Their white glove service gives you fast transactions, no slippage, and the lowest fees. You can scan the QR code on the screen or simply head to bitcoinwell.com/BTC sessions to sign up today. And you can share your own personalized referral link to earn commissions.